here.
And we've had an awesome year.
Way to go.
Yeah. It's been a beautiful spring, a gorgeous summer, a lovely fall, and now winter is fully upon us.
Yeah, and it's shitty. You didn't say anything.
Tell us how you really feel.
You didn't say anything nice.
Oh, yeah. So we thought it's nearing the end of the year. And so why not recap a bit about how the year has gone? And we've had this big move from Vancouver to Calgary. And how is that going now that the snow has begun to fall? Begun to fall.
Are we recapping the year or are we just talking about winter?
I don't know. Well, first I'm curious to hear, how has the snow been for you?
Well, I think I mentioned before, but when it's bad, it's really hard to drive in. Mostly because of the ice. Like, my car can do pretty good in powder. Mm-hmm. On the powder, but yeah, and then people get aggressive and they tailgate and it's just rude and they don't understand that the weather is bad and streets are bad and to just be slow and patient and calm. Because I don't care how good your tires are or car is, there can still be accidents. So
yeah, well, even the best winter tires can't stop on ice.
Yeah.
Like, it's the stopping part that everyone forgets about. Mm-hmm. I think people get so obsessed with the grip and, like, how much can you hold on and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but the weight of your car and the speed it's going.
Yeah.
It doesn't grip the same as it does on dry asphalt. It'll just slide real quick.
Exactly.
Real quick.
Yeah, so that's been a little bit frustrating and but I mean, for the most part, it's been quite good. Like today was a nice day. It's all sunny. Things are melted. It's easier to get around.
It was positive temperatures for the first time in a while.
Yeah, so it's a bit flip-floppy here. But I've been told that February is the worst. And then we drove here at the end of March.
Yeah.
So we already know what it's like in the springtime.
Yeah, pretty much. So this is kind of that unknown part of winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we've survived it so far. I mean, I think I've acclimatized, what's the word? A little bit better because I have to go out in it a lot. I mean, I'll still complain, but I feel like I have gotten better at being out in that kind of cold. And especially when it gets a little warmer from that, I'm like, yeah, I can go outside.
Yeah.
Like today when you were outside complaining about how cold it was, and I'm like, it's warm now.
Yeah, but I was outside for like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't go out that long.
An hour and a half. Yeah. So that's a difference. Like, but I did feel that at the beginning. So I went out to this place called Nose Hill, which is one of the only flippin' hills around this area. Mm-hmm. It's really flat here. I'm not going to lie. That's a weird thing to get used to. Because even as I was up there looking out, and so I was on the east side of Nose Hill, looking sort of south towards Calgary, and then, of course you see everything east as well. And east of Calgary is just flat. Flat. Nothing. And I'm looking a little southwest towards the edge. So, like, when you're looking towards downtown and you see a little around it from where Nose Hill is, you can see some of the Rocky Mountains off in the background and in the distance, but they're so far away that they look really small and tiny. And I think coming from Vancouver, it's such a weird sight for me to look at. Where I'm like, there's just nothing. And there's no ocean. It's just land and flat and lights, like, because there's sort of the, suburbia that sprawls around.
Yeah, and then the sun when you're driving down the trails.
Yeah, that sun can be brutal.
Brutal, but awesome to melt the ground, but also terrible because of the glare. And it was just, that's also such a danger out there, that sun.
Yeah, that brings me back to my point that I think what made me think of what I was doing today, because it felt warm, because it was 2 degrees or 3 degrees, like it was above zero today.
Yeah.
So it felt warm.
The sun?
And I was like, oh yeah, I'll go out. Yeah, especially in the sun.
Yeah.
And then, you go out, and I have on just some little thin pants and some bullshit socks and some boots, and I have my parka. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be warm and I'll be great. But you're standing out there for an hour, and then you're in the shade part of the hill where like the sun goes down. There's no more sun. You're just hanging out in the shade, and it gets colder real fast. And I think I was just reminded how quickly the temperature can change here.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like desert climate in a way.
But on the days that it's really cold, we can't lock the doors from the outside.
Yeah, that's been a funny addition. You're like, oh, the door is locked, and my key doesn't work because the lock's frozen.
You can open it from the inside. Pretty easy, though, right?
Yeah, we got to get some lock.
But even the door itself has been stuck frozen.
Yeah,
which
we've
means
had the
there's
ice
some
around the edge
moisture
there.
happening there.
Mm-hmm. There for sure is. It's all part of learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been kind of a fun part of this. I think the thing I've been most grateful for is how warm the house has felt, and how, I guess, well insulated it is, because it hasn't costed us an arm and a leg to heat it either.
Yeah.
So that's felt like a real blessing, especially down here in the basement, where I thought it could get really cold. Mm-hmm. And it's not so bad.
Yeah,
it's definitely colder than upstairs, but it's not unbearable.
Yeah, when we close our bedroom door and the art room door, though, those rooms get really cold, and I don't quite understand that.
Yeah, well, I think it maybe has to do with just creating a smaller, a smaller volume of air. So, like, when something has a smaller volume, I don't know. You're looking lost at me.
Because I just don't know if that's
when you have
right.
a big room and one furnace is pumping all this air into multiple vents in lots of areas. So, like, when those doors are open, the whole upstairs is one big open space, and there's multiple vents pumping hot air into it. Mm-hmm. Versus when you close it off, so now the bedroom becomes one small space, and now there's one small vent pumping hot air into that space. So the ratio of how much hot air is coming in to versus like how much stagnant air is just around changes compared to the whole.
Okay. Well, we leave those closed anyways to keep the cat out from eating our clothes.
Or munching on the cardboard art
ripping
projects.
yeah, exactly. Ripping our shit.
Yeah, we're still working on that.
Yeah. Well then, okay.
But anyhow, I think this episode we were doing a bit of a year recap.
Yes.
Talking through a bit of the
if
year.
We can remember about the year.
Well, it's been a big change year.
Yes, it has.
I mean, the first big change being we moved from Vancouver.
Oh
my god.
Vancouver.
Sorry, I was like burping. This is terrible. We were moving from Vancouver here to Calgary. And that's big.
Yes. But if we're starting at the beginning of the year, let's see. When did I leave that job? That was early. I had that other job in October. Okay, cool. Well, before January of this year is when I left that office job. I was working at Poke Bar. So in January, I was working at the Poke Bar still. And then you were working at Long and McQuaid. And so around that time, we were talking about moving to Calgary.
Yeah.
And we were looking at places. And so this was in January. And things happened so quickly
Well, we found a place that we liked really quickly.
Yeah. We found a few, but most of them were already had offers.
Well, I think the first 2 that we looked at that we thought we should put an offer in, by the time we felt that we should seriously do that, they were already off the market.
Yeah.
So I think we realized that's how quick things are moving. Like, if we're going to put an offer in, we better like say, we want this, we want it now, and here's all the details. Like, so I think it helped us change our approach, I guess, to putting our offers down. Where it was like, okay, if you see something you want, like, fucking act like you want it right now.
Yeah. But I don't think we looked at a lot of places before we found this one. I think it happened so quickly.
I don't know. I feel like there was at least 20 or something that I was... I mean, I felt like I was skimming through a lot.
Yeah.
And then I'd get easily 10 to 20 that felt like, oh, okay, but out of that, you know, there's what, three of them, I think, that we
there just
questioned about.
There just wasn't
2
a
of
lot.
them we felt serious about, but we missed out on it. And the third one being the house that we got.
Yeah. And I think some of those other ones were just a little bit out of our budget. So
Oh, for sure.
when this came up,
It felt like a terrible time to be looking, to be honest.
but
Everything felt really expensive.
But it all worked out for us. Everything that we've done has been working out for us. So to have this house come up and we're like, yeah, we really, 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 really like it. And then having your cousin Chev go over there and check it out and say it's all good. I think he did that pretty quickly.
Yeah,
too.
I think it was like literally the day I asked him. He was like, yeah, I'll swing by on my way home from work. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. For sure.
Yeah. And we already had a realtor at that time because it was Sheb's realtor.
Yeah.
So that was very helpful as well. Thank you, Sheb, again for everything.
Yep. We owe Chef a big thank you for this move.
Yeah, and I think we were mulling it over a little bit, but then we were told there was an offer going in, and we needed to get ours in first.
We put in our offer.
Oh.
And then they countered, and we wanted to counter their counter.
That's right.
But when we went to counter their counter, they said, wait, there's another offer. So the only way you could
was guaranteed
supersede that offer that's incoming is to accept their original counter offer. If this makes sense for the people following along. So we basically had to say, fuck it. Yes, we accept. And the craziest part about that was trying to get a $15,000 check to them in like 3 days.
Yeah, which it worked. But we weren't sure. We weren't sure if it was going to get there.
We were like scrounging under the counter or like looking under couch pillows and everything. We're like, where can we find an extra $2? Like, how do we get this money together?
And then you mailed it, and it was over a weekend too.
Yeah. So we had to mail it last minute. I remember going out on my lunch break at Long and McQuaid, and like I had to run to RBC and have them cut a check, like a cashier's check or something, like something verified, you know? So it's not like, oh, we got to wait for the check to clear. It's like, no. This check is guaranteed. It's certified. Like the money's there. No worries. As soon as you receive this in your office, it's as if you've received cash. Yeah. And so I had to get that check and then like jet over to Staples or something and have them FedEx it at like hyperspace speed to make sure they get it in time. But I remember we had such a great attitude about it and saying like, okay, we will do this. We'll try it. And if it gets there in time, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, it's not our place, and we'll keep looking, and it's not the right time, and we'll keep looking, and we'll just figure it out. Like,
yeah.
I remember having a lot of great peace about that.
Me too. Yeah. That was in February.
Yeah.
That was like
mid-February.
No, I think it had to be there for February 1st. So really it was
beginning of February, yeah.
Yeah, so honestly the beginning of the year is when we were planning our escape.
Well, I think we'd been talking about it for a while. Because I remember in, what was it, November, December, when the floods happened.
Oh, in Abbotsford?
Yeah. And so all the highways were fucking wrecked, and you couldn't get out of BC. Like, there were still all the border restrictions in, so you couldn't go down to the States. All the highways out of the lower mainland were ruined, except for the ones that were like super far north in the ice fields and shit. And so I remember just feeling super like just stuck and trapped.
Yeah.
And being like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Pardon my language.
Yeah. Well, I was
really like
wanting to leave anyways.
I don't know. Yeah, and I had a ton of other reasons why I wanted to get out of there, but that added to it. And I remember that was kind of my breaking point where I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow.
So that was exciting.
So then we came over here. I'm just going to kind of gloss over a bunch of stuff.
I mean, yeah, honestly.
Well, we did get up to Kamloops. I think that was my first time going up to, Kelowna.
Kamloops, Kelowna, Oyama, Vernon.
Well, I can't remember where Joseph and Kalina are there.
Kamloops,
right? And
but that was
like my first time there. When we went to visit just before we moved.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we went to the animal park, the wildlife
park. Kamloops Wildlife Preserve Park.
Yeah.
They rescue animals and ones that cannot be put back into the wild.
Yeah, well, they have like a rehabilitation arm, so they help rehabilitate animals that can go back into the wild, but those that can't, they keep there. And they give them a good quality of life, and they charge people money to come look at them. Mm-hmm. To support their, continued good quality of life. And so that feels really good and humane and habitable.
Yes. So that was around the time, that was before we were leaving.
Just before.
We were trying to make our rounds with family, so we went up to visit my brother's little family in Kamloops. Went to that wildlife place. And then
Well, it was like my first time in the interior and being around lake country and where you grew up.
We weren't in lake country. We were there in August.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we went back, but I just meant that was one of my first times.
Yeah, in Kamloops.
Yeah.
Which is not...
Even in that area. I'd never been... I'd driven through there.
Yeah.
Never spent time or...
So what was a good highlight there? What did you recall most?
I love the scenery.
We did go
the topography.
Downtown a little
the way
bit.
that the... well, it's along the river there. And I loved... There's something about the way the earth kind of mounds up into these big, tall, like, I don't even know what to call it. Just very domey peaks. Mm-hmm. They kind of remind me of like baby bottle nipples. That's what they most feel like.
That's
in a way.
Funny.
But they kind of just go up in these weird, like goofy shapes like that. And it's such a funny topography. I guess when you're coming from the coast where everything feels very scattered and like it gradually descends. You know, like things from the coast feel like they go from miles inland to miles to sea level. And everything sort of follows suit. It just gradually goes down to sea level. And it's all kind of scattered and out there. And, like estuaries. Right? It's just wide open, weird space of mixtures, things. But in the interior, it's kind of like these... I don't know, like that's just...
Somebody please draw that.
Yeah, exactly. And the dryness, like I love the change in color that happens.
It's
very sort of like tan, very coyote.
It's so gray.
Gray, yeah.
It was very gray.
I was surprised by the cloud cover. I will say that.
I meant like the ground, the plants, that's all so gray.
Well, even at the time of year we were there, I'm sorry, excuse me. It did feel like there was a lot more cloud cover than I thought. I expected a bit more clear sky, blue sky.
March?
Yeah. I don't know. I'd never been there, right? So who knows?
Yeah, I haven't spent much time in Kamloops.
Yeah. But then, anyhow, as we fast forward a little, we went out to the island again.
Within days of coming back, from Kamloops, we went out to the island.
Yeah, this was all kind of that last 2 weeks of saying goodbye to people in BC.
Yeah, and that's when your dad had come down too, and we were going to the island so that you guys could go visit your grandparents' graves?
Great-grandparents.
Great-grandparents.
Well, my dad's grandparents, my great-grandparents.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then my parents.
So Chantel's parents were in Sydney, which is just a little north of Victoria, BC, on Vancouver Island. And then my great-grandparents lived up in Parksville.
Sydney? Couldn't Sydney be south of Victoria?
No, it's north of Victoria.
Victoria's past.
Victoria is like the southernmost point of Vancouver Island.
Oh, I am looking in the wrong direction in my mind. And this is why I use the GPS to get everywhere.
Yeah.
Hee hee.
But Sydney's like 10 minutes north. It's pretty dang close.
Gotcha.
But Parksville is not. It's like 3 hours north of Sydney and Victoria. And that's where my great-grandparents lived. And I had spent, oh my gosh, pretty much all of my childhood. We would go up there. Up until, oh man, when did my great-grandma pass? I think it was 2016 when she passed away. And she continued to live. She moved from their house in Parksville to a place in Qualicum Beach, and then passed away in, I think, 2016, if I remember correctly. 2015 or 2016, one of those. And yeah, so pretty much my whole life until then, we would go up there regularly, like once every season. You know, like every spring, winter, summer, fall, we would be going up to the island to see my great-grandparents, and then later my great-grandma after Grandpa passed away.
Yeah.
So it was I don't know, it's a great spot. You know, they were really influential people in my parents' lives and in my life, and, you know, it felt like I'm moving really far away from them.
Yeah.
And I need to go pay my last respects before.
Yeah. Well, especially them being leaving on the island.
Yeah. And it was really good. I was grateful that I could do that with my dad, too. That was really cool. Like, both of us could drive up there, went through Parksville. We could see a bunch of the places we had gone to before. And go share that moment together. And, you know, because my parents moved over to Spokane, which is the eastern side of Washington, and it's even farther away from that. So, you know, they are both farther away. And I felt like my dad would really enjoy that as well. Yeah. Another excuse to go up and
likes to drive.
Because, well, it's, you know, it's close, but it's kind of out of the way just due to the ferries and the goofy highway on the on the island.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not an easy place to get to in that regard. So I felt like that was something we could enjoy together. Mm-hmm. And we really did. It was good.
Yeah.
Cool. And we came out here to Calgary. And
and then we took 3 days to get out here. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. 3 days. Which felt like an eternity by the end of it, didn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't take that long. Once we finally took that trip to come back, and we could have done it in the 1 day, but we chose not to. But we did it in 2 days, or like 1.5, which, you know, was so much nicer.
Yeah, well, we could have easily taken 1 day off. It felt nice to have time, though.
Yeah.
And to be able to just kind of meander and stop. And we didn't know what the weather was going to be like. But thankfully, we were blessed with clear weather. So
yeah. It was such an easy drive.
Yeah, right?
Come
Like
from
there
the
was
person
no
that
snow.
didn't drive at all. Not even once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we moved in, painted, immediately painted because it was horrific. If you go back to some of our past podcasts, you will hear all about that complaint.
Yep. It was absolutely terrible. Looked like a child's playhouse.
Yeah.
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 Well, and the good part too is it brought in the what is it? It's that kind of gross green tile that's on the backsplash of the kitchen, which I thought was horrendous
I
at first from the
liked before.
images. Yeah, you did. And it's grown on me now because we've changed the colors of the house. And I think that goes to show the power of paint.
I think it'll look really good too when we change the cabinets out.
Yeah, and when we get those changed.
We discovered Yuck Yucks,
Yeah,
some
went out to comedy.
restaurants, the Blues Can. We did some exploring, you know.
Well, and let's not forget that we had just come from BC where the province was very much still shut down.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of mandates and there was...
You didn't need anything in Calgary. It was all over.
Yeah, well, and regardless of the rules of
Or
it,
Alberta.
it just meant that in Vancouver, it felt like there wasn't anything open because nobody knew what was happening. They didn't want to
Yeah.
open or not open or partially open and not be able to afford their night. So it felt like there was nothing to fucking do.
Yeah.
And then we came out here and, oh my God, there was fucking shit to do.
Yeah. And
Like,
we got
everything's
COVID.
open. Yeah, of course.
We got COVID in April, at the end of April, because I
Yep.
was supposed to start work.
But hey, when did we move in? March?
April 1st is when we took
End of March? Yeah, okay.
possession, I believe.
Sorry, right. Yeah. Yeah, so we got it pretty quick after.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, it sucked. It was really rough, but we
Yeah,
got
you
it.
had it rougher than
It's
I
fine.
did. That's right.
It's all good. But then I got a job, and you picked up stuff pretty quickly yourself too. Like,
I was kind of surprised by that.
how
'Cause,
did
like,
that happen?
Both of us, well, we should say we both had no real prospects here. We just had a good feeling.
Yeah,
And we based everything off of that.
and I think it helped that we just said that, you know, we don't want to do this stuff, so we're not even going to bother looking at it.
Yeah, and by
Certain
this
jobs.
stuff, we meant the things we had been doing, which for you was working in an office, and for me, it was doing props work on movie sets. And it was like, okay, anything but that. Because neither of us had been enjoying those.
No, why would
positions.
we come here and do the same thing?
Yeah, well, and that was the nice part about those jobs we had in Langley. I think they were prepping us in a way to be like, okay, what's the minimum we need to get by? Like, if we had to just sort of work whatever, you know, I guess retail labor
whatever.
jobs or something that we could get. You know, like for me, that was the first time working retail, doing anything in that realm. It was like, okay, what's like the lowest wages we can get by on combined?
My parents
worked.
came and visited in May as well. We went to the Inglewood Night Market. We went to the Calgary Zoo for the first time. Pretty impressive zoo.
That
I'll
zoo
say.
is really cool.
Yeah, it was big.
And I
But
think the thing I liked about it was how so much of the, what was it they're talking about? The energy and like the water use and things like are all very renewable.
oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, they've worked really hard to make that place as like self-sustaining as possible with minimal environmental damage, minimal energy draw, best habitats for the animals in their enclosures. Like, and it, I don't know, I feel like I could feel it. You know, it's one of the only zoos I've been to where you didn't feel like it was just a spectacle show, like you were going to Walt Disney World or something. You know, like you went there and you're like, wow, this looks great. It looks like animals have space. They seem like they're cared for.
Yeah, and there's penguins.
It doesn't seem like things are dirty.
Yeah.
Or unlooked after or neglected. Like,
we'll have to go back next year.
Compared to the greater Vancouver Zoo.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a long time.
Oof. Even just driving by it, you feel like, wow, what a forgotten ghost town of a place.
Yeah. We also went out to a casino and played bingo for an hour. That was probably the best part
bingo.
Of casino, yeah.
Bingo. I think it was my first time playing bingo.
Oh, man, you're so behind.
No, now I'm with it.
Oh, also in May, we tried the Flirty Bird.
Oh.
We haven't been there since May. We've only been there once.
Yeah, we've only been there once. Our favorite hot chicken place, and we've only been there once.
I know. What's our problem? And then in June, we went to Disneyland, but we don't need to bore you about that again.
Yep. And then in July, it was Stampede, and our parents both came out.
And they went to the Stampede. I didn't make it there. No.
Well, we went to some after parties.
Yeah.
After party, Stampede party.
I went to one, Stampede party. Not after party.
We went to some parties.
I went to one party.
Dad got his bike stolen. That's like all I remember about that visit. Sad times.
Was it that long? Oh my gosh. This year has just flown by.
Yeah, it's been kind of awesome. And then what do we do in August?
We went back to BC.
Oh, shit. Right.
Went back to BC, went back to Kamloops, Vancouver.
It's kind of funny to me how quickly we had to go back. Like, because what was it? Right after we moved here in May, I had to go back to go down to Washington.
Yeah.
To shoot for a client. And then,
it's true.
Yeah, August, we had to go back for your grandparents. Sorry. Was it their 65th?
It was something crazy anniversary.
50th?
Long. It was in the 60s.
60? Yeah.
It was in the 60s, like 60, 65.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But anyways, their crazy long anniversary, which is just, wow.
Ooh. And then we went up to Oyama. Can you imagine
if we were together 65 years? How would we be?
Dead. We would be dead.
No, we'd be in our 90s.
I think I'd be dead.
No, we'd be in our 90s.
If I can't move, I'm gonna be dead. I'm gonna make sure of it.
Well, anyhow, what else did we do in August? Oh, I got to go to Oyama for the first time.
Yeah.
I had my first screamer.
Yeah.
In Oyama.
In Winfield, but yes.
Winfield, sorry.
Found out Oyama General Store makes screamers after we made that trek over to Winfield.
Fucking damn it.
Yeah. Stopped in Vernon.
We got to meet, what was your boss's name there at the... Corey, right? I got to meet Corey.
Yeah.
Who you talked so much about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good fun. Corey and his wife. They were so cool. I really loved the store there.
It's changed a lot.
I can imagine for sure.
But I still can't help but walk through and be like, I gotta do that. I gotta do that. I can't help that. I love it.
Yeah, but I could see so much of what you loved about your job there when you talked about it. Like, just from being there and seeing where it was in relation to your house. And
yeah.
And just meeting Corey and getting a feel for
Oyama
how he is
vibes.
as a person. Yeah, totally. Exactly. It's like, it was great. Loved it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got to continue on. We got to see Colton and Coral's new house.
Yeah.
Just a little down the road.
It's so cute.
A little down the road. Oh my God. Why can't I speak English?
Because we're tired now. It's getting to the end. So how about we end it with, and then September we were sober. So there's nothing much to say about that.
Well, we went to Spokane.
Oh, that's true. I'm so sorry. It was at the beginning of the month. I just forget about what happened the entire month.
Yeah.
Sheesh, man. So
We went down to Spokane,
Yeah.
and we came back, and oh my god, I'm sorry, I'm talking while I'm yawning.
I thought we were. Are we still talking?
Yeah. What did we do in Rocktober?
Oh, okay. In North Carolina.
We skipped. Oh my god, yeah, we went out to North Carolina, and we skipped Christmas parties because we were so fucking tired.
Christmas parties?
Sorry, not Christmas. Halloween parties.
Well, you.
I
were
remember we
sick.
just stayed at home because we were so
You were
goddamn tired from traveling and
You were
in the
sick
year.
for the Halloween party.
Yep. And then I was sick. Got sick with another cold, flu-y grossness.
And then November. Mm-hmm. And what have we done in November?
In November, we got our cat. In November,
We got the cat.
we got our cat, Honey.
And some more visits.
And she's such a lovely little thing. And we got restocked with Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs, which we discovered on
so
our trip to
fucking good.
North Carolina. Or I should say Chantel discovered. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You Americans, they're an American staple.
Went to the Banff Film Festival.
Right. And then we went into the Banff Film Festival. My friend and business partner, Brian, came up. We went out to that. And we got to meet
Rodrigo.
a new friend, Rodrigo. And you'll get to meet him on one of our podcasts coming up. Because we're going to interview him. And we're going to chat with him about... Well, yeah. Sorry, that's a little formal, maybe, right?
And Pair of Dinks and our friend Rodrigo. Look out for it. Coming at you next time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been a slice. Wow, that was quite a fucking
Ending.
year. I feel very accomplished. This feels great.
Yeah.
We've done a lot.
Since we've been together, yeah, we've done so much.
Yeah.
It's been great.
And just this year we've done a lot, and we've been together before that.
Yeah. I always said being with you would be an adventure.
And it is.
Hey,
Every day.
cat is attacking.
Yeah.
It's time to break next.
All right. Well,
Ow!
if you want to support us, you can find us on our Patreon and
Yeah, you get.
follow us on the Instagram at Pair of Dinks. If you have some questions or comments or some love to share, send it to our email, pairofdinks@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Hope you have a great night. Love you. Goodbye.
Bye.